praise is part of speech karma. You see how important it is to the second thing. Verbal karma should not be recklessly created. This mouth karma is created in the hell of plowing tongues, mentioned in the Kayasitagarbha Sutra. In the future, you will fall into the hell of plowing tongues, molten copper is poured into the mouths, and place you on the iron beds. What the Buddha said in the scriptures is by no means prophecy or frightening, it is indeed the truth. The dependent condition, or material environment, and direct retribution in the dignified 10 Dharma realms are also the manifestations of our own karma. The dependent condition, or material environment, and direct retribution in the dignified 10 Dharma realms are also the manifestations of our own karma. The world in front of us, the realm in front of us, is also the manifestation of our own karma. If you have not created this karma, you will not be able to see this realm. I studied Buddhism in my early years. When I was not a monk, I first came into contact with Buddhism. A friend of mine introduced me to an old layman. This old layman was a Buddhist student, old layman Zhu Jingzhou. At this time I was studying Buddhism, and a friend of mine introduced me to him. He was from the same town as Master Zhu. He is from Wenzhou, Zhejiang. At that time I was very young, only 26 years old. The old man at that time was about 71 years old. He looked at me like a baby, very loving. He set up a scripture printing office, the Taiwan Scripture Printing Office, and he gave me all the scriptures printed. The old man had already retired at that time, and he specialized in the work of printing scriptures. He has many stories, we often see him, listen to his stories, those stories are true, not false. He once told me a story, explaining that without this karma, you can't see hell in front of you. This story is as follows. That is the story of his father-in-law in China, named Zhang Taiyan. He is the son-in-law of Zhang Taiyan. Zhang Taiyan was a Grand Master in Chinese academia at the beginning of the national year, Master Pu Shui, also very famous. He lived in Beijing. When Yuan Shikai was in power, he did not scold Yuan Shikai. Why not scold? It's not worth my scolding. After this remark, some people who flattered Yuan Shikai passed the remark to Yuan Shikai. Yuan Shikai was very angry when he heard it, and he was not worthy of his scolding. He was arrested and locked up in a prison for more than a month. He has no crimes, so he refuses to scold him. When he was in prison, during this month, he had a miracle. Emperor Dongyue invited him to be a judge. Emperor Dongyue was lower than King Yama, who was like the president of a country. This Dongyue, or Tarzan god, the Chinese say the 5 sacred mountains, or Wu Yue, Dongyue the Great is in charge of many provinces. And he is also a big ghost king. He is invited to be a judge. The status of the judge is quite high, just like the Secretary General. After inviting him to go, he went there to work at night. He said that it was almost dusk, and when it was dark, 2 little ghosts lifted a sedan chair and invited him to get on the sedan chair, and they carried him to work. When it was dawn the next morning, send him back. After leaving the prison, I was still working as a judge, and I was still doing this job for quite a long time. He had the opportunity to see the situation in the underworld. Sometimes when he chatted with good friends, he would also tell everyone about his work at night. It was true. In the underworld, although the races, countries, and languages are different, it seems that in the underworld, all the languages can be communicated. And there is no obstacle to each other's speech, and they can understand each other. This is a very strange phenomenon. In the underworld, although the races, countries, and languages are different, it seems that in the underworld, all the languages can be communicated. And there is no obstacle to each other's speech, and they can understand each other. This is a very strange phenomenon. He once thought that in this hell, there is a criminal law called burning hot bronze pillars, which sinners are forced to embrace burning hot bronze pillars. This Mr. Zhang Tayan is a Buddhist student and a devout Buddhist. He said that this criminal law is too cruel. Can he ask Emperor Dongyue to abolish it? He said, "You can abolish it. Didn't you do a great deed and great merit?" After hearing this, Emperor Dongyue said, "You can go to the execution ground first to have a look." So I sent 2 little ghosts to take him to the scene to have a look. The little ghost probably took him a long way. When he arrived at the scene, the little ghost stood still and said, "Come. Invite the judge yourself to come and see." But he didn't see it, so he suddenly understood, only to know that in the Buddhist scriptures, hell is caused by karma appearing, not by King Yama. It seems that this story was written by Master Zhu in his writings in his later years, and it is all true. If you haven't created this karma, you won't even be able to see it. These are all real things. You did not create this karma, it cannot be seen. In hell, according to the Kayasitagarbha Sutra, there are only 2 kinds of people who can see and go to hell. One is the person who you created hell karma and is tortured, you will see it. The other kind of person is bodhisattva. Bodhisattva goes inside to teach and transform all living beings. If you are not these 2 kinds of people, the realm of hell will not be seen in front of you. Layman Zhang Tayan stopped talking about it later, only to realize that this was not done by manpower, but because of their own karma to manifest in this realm, they came to accept their sins. To be honest, in hell, those judges, imps, bullheads, and horsefaces who are executed are also realized by their own karma. Who can you blame? It is true that we are self-inflicted.